Marcus Trescothick put in one of his more battling innings as he tried to match the efforts of Paul Horton with 100 to ensure that Somerset had the upper hand of their LV County Championship match with Lancashire in Taunton at the halfway stage. Horton's 140 on the first day had helped Lancashire post a score of 221 for 6, but none of his teammates could get anywhere close to his success. Tom Smith was the first to fall on the second morning as he was LBW to Lewis Gregory for 14. After Horton's exceptional 140, the next best score in the Lancashire innings was just 27, and that was made by their captain and coach Glenn Chappell. He may have made a few more, but the last 3 wickets were wrapped up fairly quickly by Somerset. Wayne White dragged the ball from Alphonso Thomas back onto his stumps. Kyle Hogg edged George Dockrell to Trescothick at slip, while Simon Kerrigan was out for a third ball duck as he was hit on the pads right in front of his stumps. Lancashire were all out for 266, but it would have been a good deal worse than that had it not been for their opener. Clearly this was not a typical Taunton featherbed, and even a man who's now scored more runs than any other batsman in the history of this ground was not finding it easy. Indeed, Trescothick didn't get off the mark until his 30th delivery in the 9th over of the reply, and that was with a sharply taken single off Kerrigan, who was on before lunch. Only 19 runs were scored off the first 16 overs, and then Chris Jones, who'd made 11 of them, had his middle stump ripped out by Chappell. Trescothick had clearly learned a lesson from Horton and knew that life would get easier for him as he got used to the conditions. There was even some of the flair we all expect from the left-hander as he lifted Kerrigan over cow corner, a shot we've seen so many times from the opener over the years. Nick Compton is not having his best run with the bat in his hands at the moment, and he played for some turn which wasn't forthcoming from Kerrigan and was bowled for 9 at 49 for 2. So at this stage, honours were even, but the difference between teams at the top of the table and those near the bottom, although Northamptonshire aside, only a few points separate the two this season, is when to grab the initiative, and that's what Somerset did now. For the 7th time in this LV County Championship summer, the Somerset skipper reached the 50 mark with this stolen single off Kerrigan, which almost led to Trescothick's dismissal. He'd also been dropped at slip on 25. Dusting himself off after he eventually got to his feet with no need of a crane, he could take in the applause for one of his more patient half-centuries, one which had used up 144 balls, from which he'd struck 8 fours and 1 6. Slowly but surely, the home side started to move themselves into a good position in this important contest, as they all seem to be in this year's tense competition. Trescothick received just the support he needed from Alvaro Peterson. The South African has not always been one to knuckle down for his runs this year, but he did here. His innings was a more fluent one than his partner's to begin with, and he added a 6 just to his tally by pulling a long hop from Stephen Croft over the mid-wicket boundary, although it was parried over the rope by Kerrigan. Somerset knew that one good partnership rather than one good knock would help them earn a good first innings lead, and this was that very stand. It moved into 3 figures as Trescothick started to bat as he always has done, the 4s now coming at regular intervals. Lancashire would have been hoping for more success from their spinners on this previously used surface, but if there was any turn, it was easily negated by Trescothick, who now approached 3 figures for the 54th time in his exceptional career. This shot took him there, the 3rd time he's made 100 this season. All his hard work at the start had been rewarded with an outstanding century, which had taken him 219 balls to make, his second 50 occupying 75. He struck 15 fours and 1 6 in a captain's knock, which was now putting his side in control of this match. Peterson then swept Croft for a 4 to bring up his 50 off 116 balls, that being his 6th 4 to go with his 1 maximum. He and his captain then batted out the final few overs of the day to ensure that they'll go into the second half of this match holding all the aces. With Trescothick set to go again on 107 and Peterson on 57, Somerset will resume on the 3rd morning on 193 for 2, the partnership between these two now standing at 144 runs. They start the second half of this match only 73 runs behind, with 8 first innings wickets still in hand.